Hello and welcome to our short animation on why we say Wood IP is the firm to use for intellectual property matters in the UK. We focus on trademarks, copyright and designs, and we do matters both in the Patent Office and in the courts. And our speciality and our special claim is that we also do the advocacy. So let's have a look at our competitors and how we measure up. Here's a list of firms in the Legal 500. These are the top firms in the UK according to the Legal 500 trademark and patent attorneys. So let's look at what we say is really important, which is conflicts, because you can get a firm to register IP for you and there are lots of firms out there, but when it gets difficult and when you've got disputes, we say that's when the differences really show. So first of all, let's look at how many of those firms have had cases in the UK Intellectual Property Office for trademarks since 2012. There we go, we knock just one off. Now let's have a look at how many firms have had more than 2 cases in the last 5 years. So it's just 2 across the entire firm. And then if we have a look at how many have had more than 2 per year since 2012, well, the number's even smaller. And don't forget, this is across the entire firm. So if you've got a very large firm, that might mean that actually the fee earners themselves are not seeing many cases. So if we now try and find a rough and ready way of dealing with that, which is perhaps to divide the number of cases they've had over that period of those ones that are left by the number of fee earners, so not paralegals but qualified attorneys, this is what we get. Now, as I say, remember, some firms have got large teams, but actually have a limited number of people taking the hearings. So if we take the example of Stobbs, over that 5-year period, only 2 cases didn't have him as the advocate. And if we now look at those individuals, a lot of the firms that we've just looked at won't do their own advocacy. They'll get a barrister in to do it, which adds extra cost. Of the approximately 1,500 members of the Chartered Institute of Trademark Attorneys, there are a smaller number, far smaller number, who actually appear. So if we move to 2010, 263 people, individuals who are not barristers, have appeared in the UKIPO to argue their clients' cases. Now if we look at the last 5 years, that number goes down to 196. And then if we look at how many have had just 2 cases in the last 5 years, so argued just 2 cases, that number goes down to 72. And then if we look at how many have had more than 2 per year, so only gone to the UK IPO and argued just 2 cases on average a year, there were just 6 people. And of those, how many have also appeared in the IP courts in the UK, either the Specialist Intellectual Property Court or in fact the High Court as the advocate? Well, we're just down to 1 person, and that 1 person is me, the founder of Wood IP. So that's why we say that we're probably the firm who are in the best position to look after your disputes in the UK. We have the experience in the Patent Office, we have the experience in the court, and this is something which we're able to offer to direct clients and to firms in the UK and elsewhere to help resolve matters more cost effectively and quite often with far better success rates. What we often find with firms that use external barristers is that they'll often prepare the evidence without using the barrister and then